What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. We are here, day 2 of Tampering period. Oh boy, tomorrow it technically begins, but we have seen the all-out warfare going on the last 2 days and keeping you up to date with everything I possibly can, of course, with the Eagles, but from around the NFL as well. So last night, we had the Roundup. We talked about every move from around the NFL. We're going to do that again today. I'll do that at the end here first. We'll go through, we'll talk about day 2 of the tampering period for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then we'll talk about, obviously, who we added, lost, who's still left out of the free agents. Then we'll go position by position, taking a look at who's under contract, who the free agents are, so you get a better idea of what this roster looks like, who's competing this summer. So I've got the guys on the roster. I've got the guys that are on reserve future contracts, all that stuff for you. So you'll see it all in about 10 graphics there. So I'll give it all to you quick here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate each and every one of you taking the time. It's Howie season, baby. So let's get things started here. I appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. My man, Ryan, in the building. Let's go. Appreciate you, dude. Hope you're having yourself a great night. Happy belated birthday to you. Let's go, birds. Happy that you're all taking the time tonight. I know it's been a crazy day. Hope you have all been able to keep up. But if not, again, at the end here, I will give you all of the moves from around the NFL, from signings to trades to people re-signing, all that great stuff. You'll see it all. You'll know what's going on around the NFL. But let's start her off with the Philadelphia Eagles, who we added today. So, added or retained, obviously. Jason Kelce is back. We know that yesterday. And Brett Toth and Brandon Graham we've known about. So hell yeah. But we got some great news today. So we get the running back news. Penny and Scott, excited about that. Then you talk about James effing Bradberry. We were hearing all the rumblings and negativity out there, but we knew, stay patient. It's literally day 2 of tampering period. Howie will get things done. He gets James Bradberry signed. Very, very ecstatic about that 3-year deal. And we talked about how he is able to back end those things. And backyard Bobby, dude, he comes in, spreads that money out. We're going to be able to sign other people. And I know there is a lot of hope out there for a certain somebody, but we'll see how it goes. Now, obviously, that means you're going to lose some people. If you want to sign these bigger names, you want to sign some of these guys, lock them up, get Jalen Hurts' extension. So Andre Dillard, he moved on to Tennessee. Edwards, Epps, Hargrave, those were all yesterday. But today you see Kaiser White left for Arizona. So we lose another linebacker there. We'll take a look at all the positions here shortly. But you see, losing some pieces, but keeping one of the most important. So now here's the guys that are left. On offense, we've talked about this. I don't think Miles comes back. I'd love to see Isaac back. Not sure that he does. Tyree, I think, will get a chance just because it's an exclusive rights contract that costs absolutely nothing against your cap. So give him a shot, see what he's got. If he doesn't, then he's not. So Brett Kern probably going to retire. He was atrocious last year. Then you see Fletcher Cox, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and then the old man River crew in Linval Joseph, Robert Quinn, and Ndamukong Suh. So those guys I don't think are back, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that's the guy we all want to know about. And look, the way Howie is able to work these things out, and we've talked about Slay and we've talked about Lane Johnson, whatever one of those moves, well, they're both going to be made. And whatever happens with Slay, you're going to create money. So we're going to create cap space. Don't let people tell we don't have it. It's like, yeah, that's the whole reason I make those shows every offseason, to explain how Howie is going to be able to create cap space and then be able to do these things. So if you want to give CJ Gardner-Johnson a long-term deal, you will be able to do that. I'm hopeful that we can do that, but I've seen him dancing around a lot with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So please don't do that. We'll see what he does there, but let's keep this train moving, and let's jump right into this. We're going to look at the Eagles by position here. And again, it'll be the guys under contract on one side, and then on the next side, you'll see who the free agents are, if they've signed with someone or if they're still a free agent. So let's keep it rolling. At first, Penny signing, man. Yeah, man, it's just a really cheap deal. We talked about that. He's a bruiser. He can kick return. I mean, I'm excited about it on the cheap to add to that room, get somebody in the draft, make some competition there. I'm excited about it. My man, Drew, let's go. Appreciate you tuning in, my dude. Hope you're having yourself a great night. Did you see me tag you HG clip where they're saying where? No, I did not. But yeah, those guys really don't know much about cat space. And, that's the problem. People talk about it, but don't really understand it. So, well, they're lost. Now, I do my best by making those videos. Last month, you remember, we explain all these things, but here we are. So Bradbury signed. Now let's get CJ locked in if he wants to, unless they're giving him more money. I don't know, man. But first penny. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know how these got jacked up here. Cowboys got Gilmore. Yeah. And look, Gilmore still got a little left in the tank. Pair him up with Diggs, make him the number 2, and not a bad move, just like we added Bradbury as our number 2. So it's a good move for them. And I think they only traded like a 5th round pick. So it's a good move, but he's not obviously the same guy he used to be. So we'll see. We can go corner, pass rusher. We can go anywhere in this draft. And I think, there's so much talent across the board. We talked about it. Defense is probably going to be, if not offensive line, a very important position to keep your eye on. Edge rushers, safety, corner, linebackers now. I know we don't like to go too high on linebackers, but it's like, look, man, we've got some needs here. We'll go best player available, but there are a lot of really good players available. So a lot of stuff to go through here. And don't worry, once this initial wave is over with free agency, we're going to jump right into the draft stuff. And it's going to be fun. I'll be real with you. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, man. I like Darren Waller. I've always been a big fan. And look, he's been banged up, but obviously that's quite the upgrade for them. And adding him with Daniel Bellinger, I think that is a good combination. So never like to see them getting better. Didn't like that move happening. Not the same as he used to be, but he's still Darren Waller. So I don't like that. But yeah, exactly. Gilmore is still pretty damn good, but not the same guy. He's older. We all know that. But I think he'll have a great impact. I don't like to see that move. I didn't like to see the Waller move either. I don't like to see them getting better. And I agree with you, man. I think that they're both really good players and not the same elite players they were a few years ago, but still pretty good to, get those players compared to what they had. If they sign, we'll consider the free agent a total win. Yeah, man. And that's what we talked about. Getting those important pieces here is the most important thing. And you're going to lose a lot of guys because of that, but we'll get comp picks next year. And I think, when you sign your own guys, it doesn't go against that. So we knew this. We were going to try to get our own guys, right? And then we'll figure it out from there. And CJ's clearly one of the biggest pieces because if you don't get him, then you have a lot of money to go elsewhere, right? But I think they're trying their best to get him to sign here. He sees Bradbury's back. He sees Kelsey, Graham. I think these guys want to run it back. I'd love to get him back. The other guys, I'm sure the Eagles just didn't give a damn about because they have to look. This is a business. You can't just, I'd love to build this like it's Madden, turn the cap off, but unfortunately, this is just how it goes, man. And Cox, we talked about that. If he were to take a discount, I'd love to have him back. But I think he could still get money and he might want to go test out the water somewhere warm in Miami. I could just see him doing that, but I love the dude. I hope he retires an Eagle. But look, we've got money. We're going to sign people. Every year I tell you guys, you can tag me, whatever you want. I will happily explain it to people that are telling everyone that we don't have cap. No, dude, that's not right. And I have the videos to show it. Maybe I'll have to make another one, break it down with the moves we've already made. And once I get these numbers for a lot of these things happening, I will happily give those to you. And I'll explain to those people how we can create space. But I believe this is going to happen here shortly where you'll see Slay and Lane, those moves being made where we will create cap space. So we shall see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. Going to be NFC East. Well, we shall see for sure what is going on, Liz. Hope you're having yourself a great night. Nice to see you here live. We're about to go through here position by position. So excited to talk about what the Eagles have. I know a lot of negativity out there about losing everyone. Sure. Well, we're going to take a look at that and decide for ourselves how we feel about it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. John, yeah, getting a better tight end is good. Gilmore is good. But yeah. They go to DT in top 10. Yo, you could definitely do that. And I think that's always been a possibility. But watching Hargrave leave, depending on what else happens here. But we talked about, I don't think Sue comes back. I don't think Joseph come back. On the edge, I don't think Quinn comes back. So I think you're always going to look there. And I think maybe not even, in the first round, maybe the second, third, maybe you get Nick Herbig, old Nate Herbig's brother. Maybe you find someone, that drops or whatever it may be. I just think there's so much talent that you don't have to necessarily focus that at number 10, I have to do this because you could have a guy like Witherspoon at 10 or whoever you like, Porter or whatever, man. I'm not here to just, if I start, I'm going to have to name off everybody to make everyone happy. But my point is Gonzalez could be there. You could take somebody and have them learn under Slay in his last year, Bradbury, if something doesn't happen, whatever, look, for me, I think there are so many options here. You can't just, and I'll give you my pick when it comes time, but it's going to be a long, long few weeks of breaking that all down and deciding who I really want to go with. But the Eagles, it doesn't matter because you have no effing clues. I'm going to trade into the top 10, jump in front of you, take someone you really liked. You could see someone want to trade up 2 picks. I mean, you could trade back, and I think that's going to happen, whether that's with 10 or that's with 30. I think the Eagles are going to definitely trade back and acquire more picks. We've got 6 this year. And look, I'm ecstatic about having all of those picks. And we've said this before. Howie is a magician when it comes to, trades and money. And he's done pretty damn well these last couple of years in the draft. So I'm pretty pumped. So we'll see where we land and then we'll decide where we're going to pick. But it's Cap that we don't have Cap. That's a fact, my man. That is the truth. Hope you're doing well, dude. You guys are going to look. Yeah, man, exactly. And it's hilarious to see people every year. It's like, oh, my God. Yeah, please, for the love of God. But happy that you're tuning in here. And last night, I tried to put it in the messages there because I can type right after it ends, but I was no longer live. I was like, oh, damn it, of course. But I always appreciate you guys. And I want to let you know I was thankful that you took the time and tried to make it. And look, we're going to do the same thing tonight. We looked at all the Eagles moves. I'll show them again then. If you guys need to see any of that stuff, just let me know. Cansey, I like him too. And look, again, we're going to talk about all of those guys throughout the damn all season. So do not worry. It's draft season. It's coming, man. I'm telling you. 4 quarterbacks to top 6. So yeah, man. And look, you talk about the teams that are needy for quarterbacks and things. Look, I think we have a great chance of having our pick between a lot of really great players. Agree with everything you think Gilmore gets Cowboys? No. What? No. Whoever's telling you they're contenders, that's a big no, my man. Do not believe them. Gardner Johnson will probably be signed. Yeah, man, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. We're all very hopeful. Yo, it's good to hear. And look, at Bradbury coming back, that is a beautiful, beautiful move. And yeah, that would be icing on the cake. Hell, they could do it tonight. I'd be thankful for that. I would be. I should watch my phone, though, because I get on here and I'm like, it's nice to breathe a little bit. And then it's like, you shouldn't breathe. They're going to do something to you. But I did see one thing that I don't have on list, but David Montgomery, what? He's going to the Lions? Oh, Lord. That's very intriguing. So I guess, they said about not wanting Swift there. I told you I want Jamal Williams in this room. Arden Key. Okay, he's going to the Titans, leaving the San Francisco 49ers there. So a couple moves happened since. So, yeah, those are not going to be on the list. But interesting. Now, we need to go get CJ tomorrow. We all know that, but we aren't making the same mistakes. And that's the thing. Somebody said earlier today to me, they're like, you're doing the same thing as the Super Bowl year. And I was like, it's literally the complete opposite. We signed everyone back. Like, what are you talking about, dude? So I'm with you, dude. Yo, my dude, let's go. Let's put it out in the air. We don't care. Bring them on back. Please, for the love of God. Please, 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 please. Cowboys fans. Oh, yeah, dude. He'll be there, too. Diggs is very overrated, but it's a good duo. They'll get smoked by Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, though. Seahawks, Travis Homer signing with the Bears. No doubt. Appreciate you putting that down there. No. The Vikings. Schultzy. Yo. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. But that's a good one. I appreciate you putting that in there. Do you think make the end for Slay with Bradbury return? I don't really know what they want to do there, but I think they want to keep him. So again, him and his agent, they got to figure things out, but his restructure or extension needs to happen because 26.1 mil, a little too much there of a cap hit. So got to figure that stuff out. Appreciate you, EC1, throwing that news in there for you. Like I said, it's hard for me to produce this show and do all that while, it's just always free agency. It's a free for all. I was thinking about doing, if I had a damn day where I could sit here and just do live and go through this stuff, but it's like, I might try tomorrow. We'll see what I can do when I get home. But let's get through this. Quarterback. And we know Jalen Hurts, QB1, is about to get that extension. Ian Book, though, it's the only backup. So we will be looking whether for a veteran in Jacoby Brissett, like we've talked about, or maybe someone in the later rounds of the draft. Gardner Minshew, I do not believe will be back for this team. He is the free agent there at quarterback. Now at running back, we've got some answers here. by adding Rashad Penny, bringing Boston Scott back. So you've got Brooks here, Gainwell, Penny, Sermon, and Scott all competing. Probably keep 4 of those guys, Gainwell, Penny, Sermon, Scott, unless Brooks can beat out Sermon or Penny. And, Penny has to stay healthy here. We all know that, but very, very powerful back, can help you in the return game. I think, a very cheap deal. Clearly, I don't think we're bringing back Miles Sanders. He can go get paid somewhere. Best of luck to him. He had a great season. Happy for him. Wish he could stay, but the Eagles are not going to spend money at running back. And I still think we'll keep our eyes on this draft there at running back. So whether that be, in the first few rounds or not, I still think we'll add there. And I think adding him kind of makes it more of a mid-round kind of feel, because I think they like Gainwell and they want to feel out Sermon. And we'll see if Penny can stay healthy. That's a first-round guy, so we'll see. Now, receiver. Let's go, baby. Look at that. So Devin Allen going to get a chance here this summer. A.J. Brown, Tyree Cleveland, Britton Covey, Devontae Smith, Greg Ward, and Quez Watkins. So Zach Pascal, a free agent there. I don't believe he comes back. I definitely think you try to upgrade that position. And we talked about you could save money by letting Quez Watkins go. You could try to bring in another free agent wide receiver. Definitely some options out there still. Or you could definitely keep your eyes on some of those draft picks, because there are some really nice receivers in there. So I would definitely just keep your eye out for that stuff. Throughout this offseason, I'll be dropping content for you. We'll be talking about it. Do not let those people, the Eagles only have this. Look, this is only the beginning of effing Howie season, baby. So let the man cook. That's what he's about to do. He's just getting his ingredients ready right now. And I promise you, things will look much better. Now, let's finish off the offense here with tight end and offensive line. At tight end, you've got Calcaterra, Goddard, Keene, Stoll. I think we could look in the draft to upgrade there, too. Look, Tyree Jackson, a project, and he's an exclusive rights guy. So what that means is he does not have 3 accrued seasons, so he gets this minimum contract. And if he doesn't sign with the Eagles, he doesn't really play anywhere. So he gets a shot this summer. Doesn't cost us anything on the cap hit. If he makes a team, great. But he's got some competition there. Calcaterra, we talked about that. He's the Y-type tight end, your receiving type guy. Goddard, jack of all trades. Stoll, your H-back type of guy that can move around, block a little bit. He's not an inline fullback kind of guy, but he can block. He is a good receiver. Dalton Keene, he is brought back this summer. We'll see what he can do. He was on the practice squad a couple times. But I think you could add to that room. This team likes to run 12, 13 personnel. Them taking away that quarterback sneak, probably all that stuff. You want to ensure you're able to pound that rock. And we'll do that by getting guys like Rashad Penny, but also look for guys that can block, not only on the offensive line, but at tight end. So speaking of offensive line, let's finish off this offense. You see here, oh, hell yeah, Jason Kelce is back. And look, you've got a plethora of really good players here. See at tackle, Driscoll, all those Johnsons, Fred Johnson, Lane Johnson, Roderick Johnson, then Jordan Mailata and Jared Williams. And you've got some young guys, that are going to be competing for a spot with Andre Dillard leaving, and Jack Driscoll can hold it down. So he'll definitely be here. Cam Jurgens, Jason Kelce, and then Cameron Tom will be given a shot to compete again as well. Then at guard, you've got Dickerson. Samalu is still a free agent, though. So good Jones, Opeta, Robinson going to be competing. I know Stoutland loves Opeta, but not so sure he's starting caliber. So I definitely would keep my eye on the draft. We talk about, offensive line. That's somewhere people always forget. The Eagles are always keen to go on the line, whether it's on offense or defense. And that's the smart way to go, man. It begins in the trenches. So you lost Dillard. Big deal, man. Obviously, people feel like it was a wasted first-round pick. He was a great backup to have. Obviously, you wanted him to be that starter, but we found a diamond in the rough when he got hurt. And best of luck to him. That's what I'll say. But let's keep it moving on to the defense here. And you see on the defensive line, you got some edge rushers there with Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, Teron Jackson, Matt Leo, Janarius Robinson, and Josh Sweatin. On the other side, you got Kyron Johnson, Patrick Johnson, and, of course, Hassan Reddick. Now, I've talked about this. Definitely want to add to this room as well. I'm intrigued to see what Robinson has this offseason. Going to be competing with Leo, Jackson, maybe for a back-end depth chart spot, or, on the practice squad. Obviously, Sweat and Barnett will be given a chance to have, and Sweat as the starter, but Barnett in that rotation with Brandon Graham. And that's a decent rotation if Barnett stays healthy. So, look, you could add to the room. I don't think you necessarily have to go too high there. And then you see in the middle, you drafted Davis for a reason. You got Noah Ellis, who was out all of last year, but he'll get a chance to compete. Tua Pelotu was banged up. Love to see what he's got. He looked great last year. And then, of course, Milton Williams. Very excited to see him in an expanded role. Then Marvin Wilson will get a shot as well. You see the free agents. Hargrave left for San Fran. Don't like it. Do not like San Fran, but happy for him getting his money. Now, Cox, we'll see what happens with him. Do not believe Joseph, Sue, or Quinn return. Maybe Quinn with the familiarity with the side, but I'm not so sure. So Eagles have to spend their money wisely, and I think it's going to be by getting a lot younger and allowing some of these younger players to just step in and play a lot of positions. So we'll see what they decide to do, but still some moves to be made. These comments are flying in here. Let me try to get up. I'm not going to be able to plop all of them up on in here, but going to keep it moving. Slay definitely needs to restructure. Said we're done. Yeah, people are ridiculous. Wants to come back. Yo, and I don't know if Gardner Johnson wants to come back, man, but I'll be real with you. He's been playing around like he might want to go other places, and I do not like that. So CJ hasn't signed yet. Makes me think we're definitely in talks with him, but he's in talks with other teams too. So we have to try to outbid them or try to convince him to, just come back because we're going to go win the Super Bowl. Mariota. Yeah, we talked about that during the quarterbacks. I know a lot of people like him. I think Brissett would be a much better option there, but hey, we'll see what they do. Raiders are signing. Yes, we will be talking about all that stuff. Offense is pretty solid as is. Oh, yeah, man. I don't need you posting all the moves. That's what I'm about to post up here. You're jacking up the chat. Please do not do that. Thank you. Watch Barnett ball out this year and shock the world. Yo, we talked about that last year. He's a DN2, DN3. We are going to have a rotation here. Brandon Graham is back, baby. Let's go. I cannot wait to see him. He was kicking 12 sacks last year. Like, what? So very excited to see that. We'll go interior, I'm sure, whether that's adding D tackles in free agency or in the draft, but I think we'll do that. People are hand on the Eagles, but we're currently have now. Yo, we'll be all right. And I'm going to keep moving through this. I freaking love it. Yo, and I appreciate you tuning in, Jeff. And look, we're going to go through. We're going to talk about the end of this, and then we'll go through all the moves made in the NFL. No, dude, it's all good. But I'm trying to get through this, and it's a very small screen. So I can't get to everybody's comments, and I'm trying to go through it. But it's all good, dude. I appreciate you trying to help. But let's keep this train moving. Let's look at the Eagles linebackers here. Now, we lost 2 starters. We know we drafted Nakobe Dean for a reason, though. So he will be stepping in next year as the starter. Now, who's going to be next to him? Christian Ellis, he got brought onto the active roster, was really helpful in special teams. You got Sean Bradley. Davian Taylor was on the practice squad last year. So I think you need to look to improve that area. TJ Edwards went to Chicago. Kaiser White to Arizona. So I'm fortunate to see them both go, but this is a business. They got paid, so best of luck to them. We'll see what the Eagles do there, but we know how long Eagles fans have sat there and just suffered not having linebackers. So, look, I'm very excited about Nakobe Dean. So, hell yeah, and I'm excited. I think that we will add someone else to that room. We definitely will. Now, cornerbacks, let's go. James Bradbury back. You've got yourself the best trio in the NFL. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, and Avonte Maddox. And you've got guys like Goodrich, Job, McPherson, and Scott competing for those back spots. So very excited. We got the cornerback position locked up. No more free agents there. Bradbury was the only guy. We got him locked up for 3 years. Very, very excited about that. Now at safety. This is obviously the biggest question mark. Will CJ Gardner-Johnson come back? We lost the other starter in Marcus Epps, went to the Raiders. So you've got Blair, you've got Blankenship, Sasha Ray, McCollum, Wallace. I know a lot of people feel Blankenship could start. A lot of people feel Wallace could start. A lot of people, would be happy with that. And then CJ. Look, I think you add CJ and then you go in the draft and add somebody too. So that's where my thought process was. If you lose him, you got to go out in free agency and the draft to add to this room. I love Blankenship. Wallace definitely improved. I love Tristan McCollum's upside. Sasha Ray, he's a stud. He can help you as a depth piece all over the board at nickel safety. Marquise Blair, excited to see what he can do this summer, but I would be adding to that room for sure. Let's hope. Let's pray, ladies and gentlemen. Put all the good juju you possibly can out in the air. That CJ Gardner-Johnson re-signs tomorrow, please, for the love of God. Now, we do not leave out the special teams unit, so let's talk about it. Obviously, the only guy that's a free agent out of the specialists is Brett Kern there, so I don't believe, he's definitely not re-signing here, and I don't think he's getting signed anywhere else, so best of luck to him. I would bring in a punter, though, for the Eagles to compete. And then you see the Eagles return specialist. Look, I talked about this earlier today. Rashad Penny, if not anything, if he's your RB2, RB3, RB4, add somebody in the draft and you have Gainwell, Sermon, and you have Penny, and Penny is your kick returner. Dude, yes. So, look, we talked about it. The guys that we used, the only free agent that was here when we talked about this was Boston Scott. Now he's back. So you have guys that can actually return in here. And if we can block, we'll see more from Covey this year, but he's the only a punt returner. We don't really have anyone that can kick return other than Boston Scott. And love that Boston's back. And we talked about it, when people get hurt and all that, he can always step in, love what he brings to the table. But I think Rashad Penny could have that role. And the dude, he's not like somebody that's a home run hitter that's going to, fly to the end zone, but he's going to run people over on the way to the end zone. So, dude, I just love what he brings for a very cheap contract. And I think, you add to that room, and I'll be pretty excited about it. So you see the whole roster there. Not sure what everybody's freaking out about because, again, we have all the free agency ahead of us. It technically starts tomorrow at 4. And, that's all leading up. We're going to be making moves, whenever they may be. I'll keep you up to date with it. But that's all the way up until the draft. After the draft, you remember during the draft, we traded for A.J. Brown. And then after the draft, we traded for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So let's stay patient. Let's stay patient here and believe that the Eagles are going to come out and do the right thing. It's effing Howie season, baby. Let's go. Hello out there. Appreciate you tuning in, Big Bob. Let's effing go Birds. James Bradbury back in the building. Let's get CJ back tomorrow. If not, look, we will be all right. We will figure it out. And we've talked about the options. If you guys missed any of those shows, there is a show on every single position. You can see who's out there. I will be making another one after tomorrow about who is still available. So we'll be breaking it all down. Do not fear. Keep an eye on Kenneth Murray, the charge. I heard that actually that he was on the trading block and would not be against that at all, man. He hasn't really lived up to that first round talent, but I'm with you on that, man. I would definitely be all in on that for sure. So glad, he actually was he improved a lot, but that was a move we talked about. I wasn't going to be sad if he left. I think you need to improve that room regardless. So best of luck to him, but he definitely got better. Got to sign CJ. Yeah, man. We got to sign him, and we're going to do some other things. We'll fill out this roster. Miles Dancers. Well, I was a big fan of Miles, but he definitely was not a north-south runner. So that's what Rashad Penny is. We'll hope that he stays healthy. Howie season indeed. And Howie we trust indeed. And it's always a time where you got to stay patient because people are losing their mind. The media is playing on everybody's emotions. Oh, the season's over. And it's like, holy no, it's not. And then they were all trying to get out those, articles. I was waiting for somebody to write an article because somebody wrote something about how signing Kelsey was a bad move. God help us. And I was like, don't you dare write that about James Bradbury. I will drop kick you through a wall. But, and I always try to point that out. Stay patient, guys. And, I've tried to for a couple months now. Let's just, even before last season was over, right? It was like, when we get into the off season, it's going to be upon us quick. Here we are, baby. Let's go. So let's talk about around the NFL. Let's see what went down today. We're going to take a look first at offense. And look, we talked about this a little bit earlier. We had a big trade there. Darren Waller, 3rd-round pick to the Giants. And clearly not the same guy he was a couple years ago, dealing with some injuries, but very talented and very big upgrade for the Giants. That becomes his best weapon now. So going to open things up for the receivers. And for a terrible quarterback like Daniel Jones, tight ends are their best friend. And, well, we just lost both of our linebackers. So we might lose both of our safeties. Let's hope not. No, we're only losing one. But, yeah, so they went out, got a tight end. But you see the rest of the moves. Now, just in case anyone missed this yesterday, when you see just a dash there, that means that person re-signed with their team. If you see the arrow pointing over, that is where they went, where they're from and where they went, their new team. If you see a slash and then a new team, that means a trade. So you see a couple trades there. Shaq Mason, the guard down there, the bottom left, was traded from the Bucks to the Texans. You see above him, Alan Lazard went to the Jets. They're talking about clearly Aaron Rodgers going there. So intriguing. Talked about Nate Herbig going from the Jets to the Steelers. Was hopeful he would come back if Samalu left, but that's unfortunate. Then you see McGarry went back to the Falcons. Jacoby Myers to the Raiders. Samaj P. Ryan went to the Broncos. A couple of guys staying home there. Michael Thomas reworked his deal. They were talking about him being released, but He wants to stay. He is excited about Derek Carr. He said, man, I got myself a quarterback now. Yeah, Devontae Adams thought the same way. Anyways, you see Jeff Wilson also there at the bottom re-signed with the Dolphins. Now, the next page up you've got here, Calvin Anderson re-signed it. Noah Brown leaving the Cowboys to go to the Texans. Corey Clement staying with the Cardinals. Dalton going from the Saints to the Panthers. Then you got Dorsett going from the Texans to the Raiders. Raiders getting a couple receivers there. You see a couple more. Filer was released. Sorry, I made that incorrect. Little annotations there, but whatever. Taylor Heineke left Washington. So they lose their backup quarterback. Clearly they want to start Sam Howell. So he's going to Atlanta. We'll see what goes down there to compete with, whoever they got going on over there. But J.D. McKissick, you see here, released today, pass catching back. I'm sure he'll find work. And then some linemen that were re-signed. Now, let's look at the special teams here quick because I didn't show you this yesterday, but here are all the moves that were made on the special teams. We do not leave anyone out here. You see Matt Gay going from the Rams to the Colts. Minnesota retaining Greg Joseph there. You see Tabor Pepper staying with San Fran. And then, Bradley Pinion leaving the Falcons to go to the Panthers. Zerline staying with the Jets and Prater staying with the Cardinals. Now, let's take a look at the defensive moves. We talked about Stephon Gilmore being traded. You see Aziz Al-Shaair went from the Niners to the Titans. Little tongue twister there. Gilmore clearly traded. Quentin Jefferson released. Whenever it shows that with the question mark, that means they have been let go. So who knows where they're going. DeMonte Kazee, he stays with the Steelers. Mosley leaving the Niners to go with the Lions. And then you see Jabril Peppers re-signing, son of a bitch, to the Patriots. Ogunjobi stays with the Steelers. Jerron Reed going on back to the Seattle Seahawks. He played for the Packers and then the Chiefs for a couple years there. So, going on home. EJ Speed, or no, not the Chiefs. I'm thinking of the other. Anyways, EJ Speed, Colts, he's staying home. Spillane going from the Steelers to the Raiders. Dalvin Tomlinson goes to the Browns. Van Der Esch staying with the Cowboys. And then DeMarcus Walker, that happened late last night, actually, going from the Titans to the Bears. Now, the second and final page of defense here. And any moves that I missed, feel free to put in the chat now. But John Kaminsky stays. Ebukam goes from the Niners to the Colts. Gifford leaving Dallas to go to Tennessee. I have that backwards. Will Harris stays in Detroit. Mayo stays with the Commanders. Sione Takitaki stays with the Browns. Tershawn Wharton staying with the Chiefs. Wilson with the Cowboys. And Wingard stays with the Jags. So there were the moves from throughout the day. And ladies and gentlemen, what a day it was trying to keep up with all that stuff. But look, I'm going to continue doing this for the next few days. And then, as I said, I'm going to have a show where I drop all of the best still available at each page. So do not fear. I'll keep you up to date with all this stuff. There are still a lot of great options in all of these positions. So wherever we lose people, we'll be fine. Don't worry. But look, man, I'm excited. Love to hear your thoughts, though. But that's all the graphics and stuff I've got for you. I'm going to get rolling out here. But let me get through these comments. And yes, they are, man. Let them hate while I educate. Screw them, dude. Penny with that O-line. And that's something I said in that video earlier today, bro. I think they forget who our offensive line is. So I'm pretty pumped up. And if he stays healthy, man, let him run people down. And he only has a limited role here. I'm all about it. Forgot about Shaq trade. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep you guys up because, dude, I miss a lot of stuff too. So it helps me when I write it down. But if I miss anything, you guys feel free. Throw it in there. We talked about some of the moves that had happened while I was live there. Dallas can't handle the fact. Yeah, man. It's hilarious. It really is. For quarterback too, a lot of options there, man. I think you could bring in a veteran, and I've talked about it. I think Brissett would make it easy, but you could draft somebody and it would be cheaper. But the problem there is then, do you feel comfortable with Ian Book as the backup? Because I don't know if the rookie's going to be your backup. So that's a tough call, man. I would bring in Brissett, man. But it's a good question there. My man, Bro Hammeroni, Jim Boney. I love it. So we're going to chop it up whenever the hell you want, my dude. And it's been a wild time for me here. And I am planning on having some things go down this all season. But it's been just, you know how it is, especially during this time. You go from the combine to free agency. And then I'm going to be getting ready for some draft stuff. A lot of draft stuff. So It's going to be nuts. But whenever you want, man, reach out. Happily make something happen there, dude. And in Howie, we definitely trust. And I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Happily hit those comments reach out into the messages. Let's make it happen. Reach out right now so I remember, and let's make it happen. F should be the water boy. He's actually pretty good, and he'll probably start for them. So we'll see. Jonathan Scamaham, yes. I don't know what's going on, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you tonight. That was your free agency roundup. All of the moves made by the Eagles and everybody else. And then, of course, a look at the Eagles buy position. I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you're watching this live or later. Let's break it down. Let's get people off this cliff here, and let's stay patient, because Howie is just in the kitchen right now. He's getting his ingredients ready, and he's about to cook, baby. Let's go. He already started, man. He's got shit preheated. He's already got a couple things done. He's ready. Okay? Bradbury's here. Let's ride. CJ tomorrow. Let's make it happen. Please, for the love of God. But I will be back tomorrow. And if anything huge happens, hopefully I'll be home. And if not, I will rush home and I will figure things out. But we will be talking about it. But if not, I will be back with a recap tomorrow. We'll be talking about the initial day. And like I said, I'm actually going to try to carve out maybe like an hour where I can come on in the day and we can just sit here and shoot the shit and talk about the moves as they happen. I'm going to try to make that happen tomorrow. We'll see. But stay tuned. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys enjoyed this video, got anything from it, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. It does help. And you guys subscribing, retweeting, all that stuff, it truly does help me. I cannot thank you enough. And I love when you guys join in. And I know a lot of you guys can't make these lives, but when I see your comments, I don't care if it's 3 a.m., 6 a.m., I'm always down to talk some birds. Do not get that twisted. When I say it, I mean it. So, and those of you who do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I look forward to those comments, but I will be back tomorrow unless they pull something wild, which Howie has been known to do late night moves. So maybe something wild happens, man. We shall see, but I'm not sure, dude. And look, I think that, look, I think there's a troll in the comments. I'm not sure. Look, I got to get going, whatever's happening. But beyond all of the negativity, people are upset. They say, they're whining about whatever it is now in the comments and everything else. Look, let them hate. Let them be pissed off about the Eagles. We are staying patient. We know they'll be contenders. Everybody hated this team, worst defense ever. But now we lose these players and, oh, the team's screwed. It's like, well, I thought this was the record-setting worst defense. Oh, that's weird. So let it. It's hilarious. Dan Cilio, ESP. I've actually got everybody muted, trying to do my best to keep that crap off my timeline, but people are reposting their stuff, and I see it's brutal out there, ladies and gentlemen. So stay vigilant and stay sane through it all, and do not fear. I will be here, and I will return tomorrow. But until then, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have yourself a great rest of the night. Stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, people. Go Birds!